Not daring to hesitate for another second, Qianlang and Wu Juzi rushed to the shore, but as soon as they arrived, both of them were stunned in astonishment, for before them was only a tiny, rickety boat with Sword King Lai Tangyu waiting there. Qianlang asked where the large ship was, and Lai Tangyu sighed and replied that the ship belonged to the Nanhai sword sect, so they had confiscated it, leaving them only this tiny boat. Hearing this, Qianlang turned pale with anger. He thought to himself that the Nanhai sword sect had absolutely no intention of sending him back. Those people were intentionally stalling to kill Mulan. Although he had obtained the Mara cleansing crystal, if he did not return in time, all his efforts would go down the drain. The hope that was right before his eyes had ultimately vanished in the thin air just because they were blocked. Life was truly ironic. Without saying a word, Wu Juzi swept toward the shore like a gust of wind. Standing before the large ship, she shouted, "I am Wu Juzi, an elder of Fudu Mountain. I want to requisition this ship now." The leader on the ship immediately refused. "Apologies, but the sect master has ordered a blockade of the entire sea area. No seagoing vessel is allowed to leave the port." Wu Juzi emphasized, "I am an elder of Fudu Mountain." Just then, Elder Khan stepped forward and said, "Duna Sister Wu, the Nanhai sword sect has helped us a lot, so why make things difficult for them? Since you are already here, it would be best to stay for a few days to study the ancient ruins with the master." Wu Juzi replied coldly. Qianlang helped open the entrance to the ruins, performing a magnificent service. "Is it not even possible to borrow a ship?" Elder Khan calmly said, "His contribution has already been rewarded with the Mara cleansing crystal. Furthermore, the master has pardoned him for forging the token. What more do you want, Junior sister?" Wu Juzi shouted in anger. "Fine, I will go find the mountain lord." Seeing this, Qianlang acceded. "There's no need, master. We can just go by the small boat." Hearing Qianlang say this, Wu Juzi became even more furious. She scolded him harshly. "Were you crazy? It's thousands of miles from here to the mainland, with just this tiny boat, and facing a southward ocean current that would take forever to row back. By then, I'm afraid your wife will have already died, let alone be saved. Not to mention, a small boat like this would easily capsize if it hits a big wave." However, for some reason, Qianlang was extremely confident. "Master, please rest assured and trust me." Having no other choice, Wu Juzi shrugged and humored Qianlang. "Fine, have it your way." Thus, the three of them boarded the small boat and departed under the contemptuous gazes of the disciples of the Nanhai sword sect. They mocked, "Does Qianlang want to use that ragged boat to go home? Is he delusional? Just one big wave is enough to crush that boat. Or are they planning to swim back to the mainland? By the time he gets there, Mulan will probably have become a dried corpse, with nothing left of her." Pa har har har. Ignoring the mockery of those people, Qianlang's small boat silently cut through the waves. Wu Juzi sat in silence, her eyes full of concern. She said softly, "I'm sorry, Qianlang. As an elder, I didn't have enough authority to force them to obey." Qianlang smiled gently at Wu Juzi. He thought to himself that her status at Fudu Mountain was actually very high, and she could have mobilized the Nanhai sword sect disciples, but this time, Elder Kang and Yan Nanfei had directly issued a ban. They wanted to drag out the time so that Mulan would die in despair. Just then, Lai Tangyu spoke up, "Young Master Shen, it is truly a wise choice that you do not practice martial arts. I have a deep grudge against the Nanhai sword sect, but so what? Am I supposed to rush in there and commit suicide? I am not afraid of death, but if I lose my life, what will happen to my heir? People like us, no matter how high our martial arts, or only swords, the most important is still the sword holder. Young Master Shen, you are that sword holder, and from now on, this sword of mine belongs to you." Qianlang replied, "Sword King, this war has already begun. Before long, I will make all of them pay. I will raise the Nanhai sword sect to the ground to avenge us, just like how I wiped out the Su family last time, leaving no one behind." Just like that, the boat drifted silently across the vast ocean. After only a few hours, it had covered nearly 100 miles. At this point, violent winds and waves began to rise, and the boat went completely out of control, regardless of how hard Lai Tangyu tried to row and steer. The rolling waves constantly crashed down hard, tossing the boat up and spinning it around in the dark sea. Lai Tangyu asked in a low voice, "Young Master Shen, what should we do now? Time is running out. Mulan can only hold out for 5 or 6 days at most." Contrary to the anxiety, Qianlang was extremely calm. "Don't worry, the big ship will come to pick us up." And just as Qianlang had anticipated, the Sword King's eyes suddenly widened in shock. He stammered, "Look, that." It was a large warship from Chuan Temple. On the ship, a monk spoke up, "3 benefactors, if you do not mind, please come aboard so this poor monk can give you a ride." A moment later, the 3 of them were comfortably settled on the monk's ship. He clasped his hands and said, "This humble monk is Jai Mai. My greetings to the 3 benefactors." All 3 of them also hurriedly bowed in greeting. "Greetings, Brandmaster." Qianlang replied, "Thank you very much for your help, Brandmaster." The monk smiled, "Saving one life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. Please come inside the cabin to have some vegetarian food." A faint scent of tea wafted through the cabin. The vegetarian food of Chuan Temple was unbelievably delicious, and a separate, meticulously prepared meal was set for each person. Throughout the meal, no one spoke a word, and the atmosphere was extraordinarily quiet. Jai Mai looked at Qianlang and praised, "The benefactor's mathematical knowledge truly fills this humble monk with admiration." Qianlang smiled faintly, "It is only because I stand on the shoulders of giants." He continued, "In fact, our Chuan Temple owes you a very large favor." Qianlang clasped his hands, "Brandmaster, you are too polite. The great Tao reveals itself. Anyone can study and comprehend it." Hearing this, Sword King Lai Tangyu finally understood. He thought to himself, "So that's how it is. It seems Chuan Temple also owes a great deal of gratitude to him." In the past, Deji Temple had oppressed Tanshan Temple and Chuan Temple so much that they couldn't lift their heads. After the Great Buddha was destroyed, the 2 temples slowly recovered their strength. Qianlang eliminated Sunan, cutting off Deji Temple's path to advancement. Furthermore, at Deji Palace, he did something earth-shaking that shattered the myth, allowing Chuan Temple to gradually regain its status. After a long silence, Jai Mai suddenly asked, what does young Master Shen think of today's events? Chen Lang replied calmly, sometimes, being too smart is not a good thing. A secular person like me who likes to stand out will surely irritate many people. Today, I solved a 1,000-year-old puzzle and opened the ancient ruins, which is no different from slapping Fudu Mountain in the face. But unfortunately, it is in my nature to do attention-grabbing things. Even if I want to hold back, I cannot. Jai Mai said, the evil karma of human nature is hard to deliver. Even the infinite Dharma sometimes cannot save human hearts. Then he stood up to leave, advising before he went, the benefactor's mathematical talent has astounded this humble monk. If there is an opportunity in the future, please come visit Xuankan Temple as a guest. Chen Lang stood up quickly, clasped his hands, and replied, I will definitely come. Then this humble monk will not disturb the three of you from resting. Xuankan Temple quickly arranged private rooms for Shen Lang. After many days of tension, he could finally fall into a deep sleep. When he woke up the next day and stepped out onto the deck, Chen Lang saw that the Xuankan Temple warship had completely stopped in the middle of the sea. Prior to this, two other large ships had stopped by, one belonging to the Jushan Pavilion, and the other from the Tanya High Pavilion. An elder of the Tanya High Pavilion cupped his hands and smiled warmly. Master Jai Mai, do you have any interest in visiting our Tanya High Pavilion? Jai Mai replied with a gentle smile, perhaps next time, let's leave it for another occasion. At that moment, a middle-aged man stepped forward from the Jushan Pavilion. I'm Ling Mo of the Jushan Pavilion. I wonder if young Master Shen is here. Hearing his name mentioned, Chen Lang lowered his voice and whispered to Jai Mai, please help me tell them I'm not here. Master. Master Jai Mai nodded, then turned and said in a solemn voice, Brother Linghu, young Master Shen said that he's not here. Hearing this, Chen Lang was completely speechless. He did not expect the master to be so stubbornly honest, leaving him totally helpless. Jai Mai turned to look at Chen Lang and said, Ao Devo, a monk is not allowed to lie. I hope young Master Shen understands. Chen Lang could only remain silent, thinking that this big monk was truly hilarious. Even Ling Mo was stunned for a moment. He had originally planned to invite Shen Lang to his ship for a private talk, but seeing the Xuankan Temple's attitude, he could only smile bitterly and say, if it is inconvenient, then never mind. Master Jai Mai, when it is convenient, please visit the Tanya High Pavilion. Our pavilion Lord Zuo has sent a sincere invitation to Abra Jakon of your temple. The Tanya High Pavilion will surely roll out the red carpet to welcome you. Jai Mai nodded and replied, this old monk will certainly pass on the message. Thank you for your pavilion's invitation. After that conversation, the ship of the Tanya High Pavilion also quietly sailed away. Chen Lang cupped his hands to bow to Master Jai Mai. Thank you for your help, Master. However, deep down, he knew very well that the master's polite manner toward those two forces was just on the surface. The Jushan Pavilion had acted overbearing, wanting to force and capture him, while the Tanya High Pavilion, to save face, did not act directly but was ready to assist. All of this had been blocked by the firm stance of the Xuankan Temple. Master Jai Mai only smiled gently and said, there is no need to thank me, it was nothing. Finally, the sea vessel of the Xuankan Temple brought Shen Lang to the pier of Tanam Province. This place belonged to the territory of the state of Yu and was also under the control of the Yu forces. According to the unwritten rules among the various towers, no one dared to rashly make a move against Shen Lang here. Although they could make an exception, the price to pay would be too high just for someone like him. Before leaving, Jai Mai cupped his hands and said, young Master Shen, we shall take our leave. When it is convenient, we hope you will visit the Xuankan Temple. Chen Lang cupped his hands in response, certainly. Thank you, Master, for your protection. Afterwards, Chen Lang boarded a carriage to continue his rush journey back home to save Jin Mulan. Along the way, while driving the carriage, Lai Kangqiu could not help but ask, young Master Shen, why didn't you help the Xuankan Temple open the ancient ruins, but instead chose to help Mount Fuyu? Chen Lang calmly replied, first, I have only recently felt the goodwill of the Xuankan Temple. Second, in the game of exploring the ruins, the Xuankan Temple is actually just a guest. The power of decision-making lies in the hands of the three forces of Tanya High Pavilion, Mount Fudu, and the Jushan Pavilion, so the Xuankan Temple has no share in it. Third, it is because my master originated from Mount Fudu. Hearing this, Wu Tuzi exclaimed, even I, an elder of Fudu, did not know about this, yet you know every single detail so thoroughly. It seems your capabilities are truly not simple at all.